Hello, it's Deborah Richards here again from Madison's Residential, a sales and letting agents based on the Pantiles in the heart of Tunbridge Wells. And thank you again to the fabulous My Tunbridge Wells for giving me a chance to talk about all things property. This week, I am going to talk about the family buyer and how their needs have changed or not changed as much as you might think over recent years. It was really interesting because there was a fabulous video that was launched on the BBC recently, and it showed it was filmed in 1952 when they broadcasted the People's House. So these were houses that were built post coming out of that Second World War, where obviously a lot of housing stock had been damaged by bomb attacks. So they were, reinventing and reigniting towns with these modern homes, and they looked to embrace the things that they felt family buyers wanted. And interesting, have our needs changed so much? Some of the things they point out: a serving hatch to access between the kitchen, the dining room, to make very much mums, life easier in getting plates and food to the table. Storage, really, really important as well. Having a nice sitting room with a fire, somewhere to watch the telly, and a larder cupboard in the kitchen. So interesting that those things were raised. Now, clearly a lot has changed in the way we live now from 1952, masses and masses. But it's interesting to think, have those fundamental needs of the family buyer really changed? Whenever you are selling a property, you need to think, who is my target buyer? And this is in terms of, if you're looking to sell and make really good profit or have a really great result with your property. And the way you can really help with that sale is to make sure it meets the needs of your target buyer. So if you live in a really strong school catchment area and your house is a nice, solid family home, preferably with some off-road parking and a garden, you are going to appeal to the family buyer. That is going to be your target market. So what are they particularly after? Well, there's no doubt that probably number one on a family buyer's tick list of criteria is the open plan kitchen. It has become all-encompassing and it has grown massively over the years. So I'd renovated our house on Warwick Park back in 2006, sorry. We made quite a big kitchen diner. When we came to sell it, it wasn't as big as what was then being created sort of in 2013, a few years later. So interesting that the all open plan kitchen diner, it's become a place where we eat, we cook, we entertain, we relax with our children. So if it can combine a cooking area, a dining area, and a seating area, you're done. You're pretty much there. But it needs to look really cool. So it needs to be a beautiful space. And that's where the larder, mentioned in the 1952's People's House, is still very, very important. Now, you get these wonderful big larder cupboards. I'm a fan of the walk-in larder. I have to say, I've got one in my house that I've built. It's a game changer in terms of organization. What am I running out of? Putting your food away after a food shop, getting stuff for cooking. It just makes life a lot easier. And I think that's why the larder, or the pantry, as it was called more traditionally, has come back into fashion. So very much a common feature. Now, brilliant as well, the second thing that kitchen really has to do importantly is overlook the back garden and preferably have a really good open access to the back garden. You see people taking out their entire back walls, putting in bifold sliders, whatever floats your boat, but just really getting that vision towards access to the garden. And I think that's because of the way our lives of our children have massively changed. I am 52 years old now. I know, gosh, I can't believe it myself. Anyway, and I remember when I was growing up in a lovely little village in Cambridgeshire, that I would regularly be allowed out on my own from the age of about 6. Very safe area. I had an older sister who I could go out with, a couple of years older, but enormous freedom. And that has really changed now, hasn't it? Our children are much more insular into our homes, and we are very keen to encourage them off devices and be in the outside space. So if you have a garden that makes mum and dad's life easier by being in the kitchen, relaxing, entertaining, while the kids are all playing out in the garden within sight, that is a dream. That's really changed. historically, the kitchen has been probably in the weakest part of the house. That's a definite change that we have seen. The kitchen has been tucked away in the darkest, not nice view kind of part of the house. Now it's all about the kitchen shining and being in the best part of the house where the best sun orientation is, where the best views are, and making that your really cool space. What the family buyer then really likes as well, though, is that separate sitting room. They want a separate space where they can go to in the evening. So be careful of going too open plan. That's a bit of a danger we see. And indeed, broken plan has become very popular in a kind of revolt to open plan, really. Broken plan means that you get that sense of connection, but you have things that divide you, a shelf unit, a wall that might come over, all sorts of furniture, whatever it might be, to create that sense of divide between those different spaces, because ultimately you want to have somewhere to relax when you're not with the kids. So the separate sitting room, very, very popular. And as we saw in the People's House, that can be quite a cozy space now. It doesn't need to be the big, huge drawing room of old. The living room was put in the strongest part of the house traditionally. That doesn't need to be the case now. It can go in quite a dark spot because predominantly it's where you go in the evening, light the fire on a cold winter's day, watch telly, away from the kids' toys. So separate sitting room, really popular. Thinking about the bedrooms, I would say the family buyer really likes consistent sized bedrooms. They don't want to have fights with the children. Preferably a decent size, because kids do so much in their bedrooms now, hang out there a lot more, have friends back, etc. They really like one of those bedrooms to be quite small to make a home working space, and the master bedroom needs to shine. So that's the bedroom that's got to really tick those boxes. Lovely if it's got its own ensuite bathroom. That's a big plus from the family buyer. And the ensuite actually should be the strongest bathroom in the house. If you can get a separate bath and shower in there, you're winning. Winning all day long. In the actual family bathroom, that can be a lot smaller. But always make sure you have got a bath in your house for the family market. They will want a bath. Teenagers love showers. There's no doubt about that. But I think keeping that element of a bath is really important for the younger family market. And it needs to be presented really gooey gorgeous for the family buyer. We are bombarded now, aren't we, with Pinterest, all sorts of TV programs about how to make homes beautiful. There are magazines everywhere. I've got beautiful period property and modern property magazines on my table here. So making it really well presented in line with those family buyer current desires is really important. And those desires change fast now. They can change really quickly. You can 1 minute a navy blue kitchen's in, then it's gone to a slightly more deeper green, then we're on to a browny grey. It really changes. So having that contemporary taste for the family buyer is key. Then just make sure, as I said before, in a great school area, off-road parking, and a really nice garden to play in with some lawn. If you can tick all of those boxes, you will absolutely win for what your family buyer is after. If anybody ever wants to talk to me about their property and getting it ready for market, then I'm very happy to do so. I will always think, who is your target buyer? How do we make it appeal to them? And I've got so many great case studies and examples to show how that works time and time again. I hope that was of use. If any questions, do give me a call. Have a lovely rest of spring and summer, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye-bye.